Club on 947.
Monday to Friday,
Listen every morning.
6 to 9 a.m.
Move to the music on 947.
What's up? This your boy Lil Durk.
This is Taylor Swift.
I'm Ed Sheeran.
It's Doja Cat.
I just packed a big bag of that gelato.
Paint Summer Pink with 947.
You know what I keep seeing pop up on my social media, and every time I go into the different news sources that I use, be it IOL, the South African, News 24, Daily Mail, The Citizen, all of them, The Sun, they've all been writing about Oscar Pistorius in the last day. Mm-hmm. Turns out Oscar Pistorius has a new girlfriend.
Yes, he does.
I never thought we'd be speaking about Oscar Pistorius again in 2024. When did he come out on parole? Was it like last year?
It was last year sometime.
Here's the thing about this new girlfriend thing, because there's obviously interest in it. That's why people are writing about it. There's some things you just need to forfeit. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you've done something so horrific, I know that he's currently on parole, and I know that he's served his time, quote unquote. But even there's certain things, certain freedoms, where you just need to forfeit them.
Yeah.
Write it into the parole restrictions.
Like a relationship.
Yeah, part of parole for somebody like him should be no relationships. I don't know if I'm losing my mind saying that.
Explain.
Well, he's obviously...
Okay, because of what happened.
Yeah, in his previous one. And I'm not making a joke here. I'm not trying to be funny or be is it insensitive? Yeah. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to say, when you do certain crimes, they should be lifelong
should not
punishments.
be allowed, because that's the kind of crime you committed, so we don't want to have to experience that ever again.
If you're on a list of sorts, you know, the sexual offender list,
that.
you're never allowed to be around children.
I get that.
I do think that there should be lifelong consequences for some actions. You're looking at me very confused.
Thunder is, yeah.
Because for me, it's just like he went and he asked somebody else out. We're thinking, right?
Yeah.
She should have been the one to say, absolutely not,
No.
because this was a case that was very high profile. But also, if we have that standard for Oscar, then we need to have that standard for everyone who's in jail.
Else.
And you can't regulate
you don't
human
monitor.
interaction. You can't.
Oh, guys, that's what I mean. I don't mean just Oscar. I think if that's the crime you did, a lifelong part of that. Hey,
and
you
then
get
should
to
they
get out,
dare find out that you are in a relationship, what should the repercussion of that be?
Go back, because now you violated part of your parole. Because you did your 14 years. How long was he gone? 14 years?
Less than.
Oh, less than 14 years. However long he was gone for, he came out. They
So
said he
that
got
brings the
parole.
question of retribution and rehabilitation into the conversation, because do people not go to jail for rehabilitation?
Yeah.
Not in South Africa always, but yeah. Because my thing is, we can't. What kind of society are we building then? If we're telling people that, okay, fine, you go to jail, you serve your time, now you can't interact with human beings the way that you want to interact with them.
Well, that's no.
Also, are you not
there needs to be a level of personal accountability. And for every action, there's a consequence.
Yes.
And I think, yes, you get out, you get your parole, but even during parole, you've got certain things you can't do. He can't travel, he can't leave Pretoria there where he is. But there also needs to be additional stuff like, hey, you can't be in a relationship. Unfortunately, you lost one of those human rights. Not human rights. You lost one of those social rights.
Yes.
Because of the heinous nature of your crime, that is just something you're not allowed to do anymore. Guys, I just made the example of what would happen if you were on a sex offenders list. Forever, you cannot go next to schools and parks and children. And that doesn't go, oh, okay, we'll think about it later because we want you to be part of society. No. This is the crime you did. That's the consequence for it.
But then that brings her argument about
rehabilitation or retribution. Do people not rehabilitate in prison, especially if they've paid for the crime, their dues? Do they not get rehabilitated? Have they not learned from whatever crime they committed and know what maybe they cues might be that would, raise the frustration or trigger them? Do they not get rehabilitated for stuff like that?
I am not arguing with that. You can be rehabilitated. However, your actions still have consequences. It's like, just because you're better doesn't mean now you can just go live freely out in the world again. You know, when my parents would punish me when I was younger, they'd punish me, but I still have to face my consequences. You know, after being grounded for 2 weeks, still no phone.
But it's not a... Okay.
Still no phone because I was messing around with my phone. It's gone.
But you would get it back at some point, would you not?
Oh, but...
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
But very much... I lost my phone once for like 6 months, and I'm not comparing that to Oscar's situation.
No, I get that.
Hello?
I get that, but I'm just like... then does that mean that like people just never learn from the things that they do?
Guys, I think you're not hearing me.
No, I get what you're saying.
You can learn from your mistakes. I think you can learn from your mistakes.
So that is just the one thing that you will forfeit because of the crime you committed.
Unfortunately, what you did was so heinous that now what you chose for yourself as an adult, what you chose is that you can no longer date people. Can no longer, because the last one didn't end well. So now we can't have you in that situation.
But then we know that the crime was heinous, right? Yeah. And the justice system should have sentenced him to a longer period of time to keep him away from actually doing that. Exactly.
But he would have come out eventually regardless.
When he's like 168.
Yeah, some of those things then need to be considered.
This is why, like, you watch those shows and you think to yourself, why are women obsessed with these killers? Why was Ted Bundy so popular with women? Now we're out here defending Oscar Pistorius.
No, we're not.
And
we're just saying
right?
it creates a precedent that's going to be very difficult to
manage.
Guys, are you not on the same page with me that if you kill somebody...
No, I get what you're saying.
No.
If you kill a woman, especially a woman that you loved...
Yes.
Let's take away all women from you ever. Again, for the rest of your life.
Then stay in
Doesn't
jail.
sound that bad.
Exactly.
Stay in jail.
Like, we're not saying...
Are you saying stay in jail because you guys will go after them?
No.
So why is he staying in jail?
We're not saying that what he did was right, guys. It was heinous. He should have been sentenced to a long period of time, right? Because of what happened. But you can't regulate who he interacts with. And that's why the parole conditions are there, to manage other areas.
066-381-8609. Feels like I'm just speaking in circles here. You know when you're at home and you're just speaking, you're speaking to the shower while you're showering. That's what it feels like right now. Let us know your thoughts.
Move to the music on 947.
What's up? This your boy Lil Durk.
This is Taylor Swift.
I'm Ed Sheeran.
It's Doja Cat.
I just packed a big bag. That's a lot.
Paint Summer Pink with 947.
Obviously, we've struck a chord with some people, struck a nerve, should I say, as we talk about Oscar Pistorius. I never thought we'd be having this conversation today, but of course, everyone in the news has been reporting on the fact that he's got a new girlfriend, and I was saying that I don't think he should be allowed to have another girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And I thought I was a sensible person in saying that, getting some people disagreeing. We actually got a voice note from David, and I think he might have misunderstood what I was saying. So play his voice note quickly.
Hi, it's David from Pretoria. So I've been listening to what you had to say about that, and I find it deeply saddening that you are so brutal to people who have made mistakes. I've made those mistakes in my life. I've actually been in and out of Krugersdorp holding cells 6 times until I've actually finally learnt my lesson. Now I'm 6 years as a fully functional citizen of this country. And if I could not get the interactions that I could get today, would I still be able to be fully functional, rehabilitated, and making the correct choices in my life? I really think that you have really deeply offended not just myself, but many others who are actually trying to make the right way. I'm very disappointed with you guys.
David, firstly, congratulations on your 6 years of rehabilitation. I'll start there. That's very good. I'm very happy for you. Secondly, I don't know if you misheard what we're talking about, or maybe you took it out of context, because you're talking about 2 different things here. Going to holding cells for a petty crime or a non-violent crime, perhaps it was shoplifting. We have no idea what you did, by the way, David. Maybe it's shoplifting, perhaps it was a drug-related. We don't know. But that is vastly, incredibly different to killing somebody. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying that people can't be rehabilitated and people can't get second chance. Of course. And I'm for more people, especially people who've committed non-violent drug crimes. People should not be spending the rest of their lives in jail for stupid things like that, or petty shoplifting because you grabbed something at the garage and somebody caught you. That's not what I'm talking about, David. I'm talking about somebody who murdered somebody, and whether or not they should be put in a situation where that could one day happen again with another lover. That's what I'm talking about. So as far as offense, well, that's yours to deal with, but that's not what I was talking about, not to you and other people who've made a comeback in their own lives. That is to be admired. That's what a society is meant to do. That is what the prison system is meant to do. You're meant to come out a better person after serving your time. So I agree with you on that point, but as far as my point on Oscar, we'll have to differ. Mr. Jackets, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you, MCZ?
Can't complain. What's your take on the conversation?
No, me, I'm 100% with you, eh? So I'm not gonna catch on nonsense, knowing, in a couple of years' time, it's gonna be back to square one. I must be punished for my actions. I can't wanna do something and then know it's going to, or there might be a chance where I do it again because my punishment wasn't taken serious or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you because I once again, I think there are certain freedoms that you lose forever. I'm not saying lock them up in a dog cell for the rest of their life, but there are certain things that we do as society, socially, and that you just can't partake in anymore.
Exactly. We can't give him a slap on the hand and say, shame, it's over and done with. Tomorrow it happens again.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw one of his parole conditions is that he's not allowed to consume alcohol. That makes sense. Slap this one on there too. No intimate relationships.
Exactly.
Because what are we talking about? Mr. Jackets, thank you for the call.
You're welcome, guys.
Sarah is on the opposite side of me. Sarah, you disagree with my point. You're with the ladies on this one.
Yeah, I think, look, he should have gotten a longer sentence to protect women. But once he's out on parole, to prevent consenting adults from having relationships. I definitely think maybe the parole board should have a situation where he has to disclose to people if you've committed financial crimes, if you go for a new job, you have to disclose. With children, it's a completely different thing. And I think if, for example, a man has been convicted of sex crimes against children, he should go on that register and he shouldn't be allowed to go around children. And if he dates a woman who's got children, he should have to disclose that to her, but also maybe the state should be saying your children can't live in that situation. But like him getting a new girlfriend, you can't really prevent that, but he should have to disclose what he did if it's not such a famous case. But why is that woman making that choice fully aware, because it is a famous case? She should not be making that choice for her safety.
Make some good points there, Sarah. What about this? What if I give it back to you and say, just like you said, the parole board there, what about if he had to report to the parole board every time he got into a new relationship? That way we're all keeping our eyes on what's going on. Or the parole board. Some authority is keeping an eye on that relationship.
Being managed.
So maybe stay in your relationship, but maybe you got to report and say, hey, authorities, this is a new person in my life.
Yeah, and so that the authorities can make sure that person knows what you did, what you were convicted of, and what to watch out for.
Yeah, because what Sarah's point is that not everyone's case is as famous as Oscars. So you might not know who this person you are, especially if they served their time 100%. Years ago, 100%. And you're like, oh, who is this nice person? All right, well, listen, normally when we do the show, we never end it with being so deep, eh? Siko. How are you, my brother?
Sweet.
Good.
No, I'm also calling on the point of David that was offended. He must just wait. It's like a lion biting a person. You don't bite a person by mistake. It was being a lion. So, now being to prison 6 times, there's a big problem there. He's a criminal. He must be locked up.
No, Siko, stop. He was. He served his time. Siko's a mess. He calls us all the time on Night Pulse. He's a mess. He thinks we're at night here, where you can just say things. Siko, please behave. This is Drive now. Have a good day, my brother.
Sure.
All right, man. Listen, David, once again, good luck. We appreciate what you've gone through and that you've made a change in your life. Hopefully others will follow in your path too. We will catch you again in the morrow. Hey, we get to be home for dinner.
I'm so happy about that.
Sleeping by 8 tonight.
Cannot wait.
We'll catch you at 3 tomorrow. Bye.
Move to the music on 947.
What's up? This your boy Lil Durk.
This is Taylor Swift.
I'm at Sharon.
It's Doja Cat.
I just packed a big bag. That's a lot.
Paint Summer Pink with 947.